We have been talking about the love of God. And when we consider the love of God, we must see how it is shown toward us. Good morning, I'm Pastor Ernie Lewis of the Blue Point Church in Sisney, Illinois, with your thoughts for Thursday. In Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 5, we are reminded that those whom the Lord loves, he chastens, or he reprimands, or he corrects. He has to discipline them because of their ways. In verse 5, he says, "Do not forget the exhortation which speaks to you as to sons. My son, do not despise the chastening of the Lord, nor be discouraged when you're rebuked by him. For whom the Lord loves, he chastens, and he scourges every son whom he receives. If you endure chastening, God deals with you as with sons. For what son is there whom a father does not chasten?" I realize that being corrected oftentimes goes against our nature. It rubs us the wrong way. We don't like it very much. Now, we all realize there are things about our lives that are not perfect. Actually, they're just downright wrong. And yet, sometimes we continue in those ways. If we saw someone going down a one-way road headed the wrong direction, we would try to warn them. We would stop them so that we could keep them from straying, especially so that they would not be in harm or perhaps even harm others. Well, that's what the Lord is doing in our lives. Sometimes he needs to correct us to keep us from harm. And he doesn't mean he doesn't love us. It's just the opposite. It's because he does love us. And after the Hebrews says, "What son is there whom a father does not chasten?" He wants his son to grow up acting correctly, not harming himself and others. So the writer says, if you go without chastening and you are never corrected, then you are illegitimate. You're not sons at all. A true sign of being children of God is being corrected or being chastened. Now, the writer warns us not to despise his chastening, nor to be discouraged, like sometimes we would be when we're corrected. It may be difficult to receive correction, but we know that it is for our own good. In verse 11, he says, "No chastening seems to be joyful for the present, but painful. Nevertheless, afterward, it yields the peaceable fruit of righteousness to those who have been trained in it." Don't despise the correction, but appreciate the whole process, because God wants to make us a holy people, without spot and without blemish. He even asks in this passage, "Shall we not much more readily be in subjection to the Father of spirits and live?" Shouldn't we appreciate the love that he is showing us, the compassion, the things that he's doing in our lives? Shouldn't we recognize that the fruit of such chastening will be for our own good? Whom the Lord loves, he chastens. He is showing us his love by correcting our lives to be more like what he wants us to be. And we must appreciate what God is doing in us and through us and love him for those corrections that he brings.